Hello Facebook, hello everyone. Just wanted to say hello and welcome to Meet the Maker. It's episode 13 today and the first one for 2017. I am so excited and nervous to be doing this because for the first time I decided to actually really go behind the scenes and instead of talking to the actual front person with the story, I thought it would be actually quite interesting to listen to the person behind the story as well, because you know, as the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child, but I think it's also the same. It takes a tribe to raise a successful business and entrepreneur, and what more, a mompreneur. And I really do think, from personal experience anyway, a mom, a woman cannot be truly successful without the support of her close and family, close and loved ones in family. And for me, that would be my husband, who has been with me, for me, behind me throughout my entire journey for the last 4 years. He's been the one who's given me the confidence to make that jump. So I really wanted to talk to him and find out what it has been like for him. So I'm not going to say much more. We didn't rehearse this. I haven't prompted him or anything. So whatever comes out from him, whether it's rubbish or good, it's all from the heart. So I'm really nervous that he's not going to say something crappy. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Pascal.
Hello, hey everyone. I'm Pascal. I'm her husband.
Yes, we know that.
So, what do you want to ask me?
Right, so why don't you start by first telling us how we met, not telling us, and telling people how we met, in the sense of, you know, when you met me, I was clearly in the corporate sector. What was your first impressions of me, and where did you think, you know, in terms of relationship, it was going to go?
Okay. Well, that would bring us or me back to 2006, when I just graduated, and my very first job was actually with KPMG. And before even starting work, I was already invited for a staff dinner, and at that staff dinner actually Mishell was there. And but you know, when I first saw her, she was somehow dancing on the stage, dressed as a pirate and singing some karaoke songs. And I was like, what the hell, what does this person do here? Does she really fit into the corporate world? So that was really where I met her, and from there we started soon having a project together. And I did see her corporate side, that she's very committed to her work in KPMG, that she was an excellent project manager. She seemed to love spreadsheets a lot, and dwelling into those, and you know, correcting me when I did something wrong and it didn't look right. She's very much actually a detailed person, even back then in the office. So she's very passionate, even though that was maybe not her passion, but you know, you can still see how.
How did you know it was not my passion?
How do you know? I think you kept telling me once in a while that, you know, this is not really what you enjoy doing. You don't enjoy Basel II, which is some kind of banking regulation. It's not really what is in your heart, and you get easily bored with things and want to move on and don't do the same thing twice.
That's interesting. Okay, I don't remember that, but yes, go on.
Yeah, so but you could see still, you know, despite that not being your passion, that you took a lot of pride in what you do it and how you do it, and how you wanted me as your help to do things. So that was something I really, you know, noted back then, or about you already. And I think that is also shining through today in how you approach your paintings. And even though you say, you know, you're too slow or you're not good enough, but you're like giving so much passion and heart into every little detail, so much thought goes into it, that I think that is really the one thing that's consistent from back then to now.
Oh, okay, that's really interesting. Thank you for that. What was, you know, so how do you say, like, from obviously, you know, 4 years ago, I got made redundant, and before then, you know, we were both earning pretty good income, and life was pretty comfortable, looking pretty good, future looking bright because we were both in banking world, sort of. Well, not sort of. We were both in the banking world, and you know, we were on track, right? And then all of a sudden, I lost my job. And then, you know, that was when this whole new journey started.
Yeah.
And how was that for you? Because for me, I talk about it enough. It was pretty scary. It was intimidating. I had to go through a lot of thinking. But what was it like for you, you know, being the other side of the equation and seeing perhaps maybe the future isn't looking that stable and that bright at that moment?
Well, yeah, that is obviously an interesting question, and something that is also has kept thinking in me. I think overall, you know, I'm a very positive person, and I do think, you know, from the start, I try to encourage you to follow your that passion, that dream, that what keeps you moving. Because I believe it's a beautiful thing to have in a lot of ways. Because if you have actually an interest or a passion or something that you're convinced can work as a product, or is missing, or is something that you want to sort of think, you know, is something that's not in the market and you want to add to society or whatever it is, if you have that drive and you have the opportunity to follow that, I think that's something very much worthy to support.
But at what expense, though? You know, like how did it impact you when you then became the sole breadwinner? Like, you know, when obviously there's financial burdens and all, because we've got a child coming and all that. How did that impact you?
Well, so firstly, obviously, I think if there would not be enough income to support that, then it would be a different story. But we're in a situation where we just at least break even, and we can sort of say, okay, you know, you can take that road to explore that and see where it goes, and then we can still reassess whether that's the right decision to do. But I think, you know, giving the loved one that opportunity I didn't have to ask myself twice. That was kind of obvious for me that, you know, I would never say no, or I would never say, no, you shouldn't be doing that, and we should be too careful, because as long as we can survive on a reasonable level, then I think, you know, that's beautiful to do. And clearly there is, even maybe subconsciously, there was more burden on me to progress my career and make sure that, you know, there's the promotion or there's a pay increase happening. Because also for me, it's, you know, I take pride in supporting the family and making sure that the family is all right and we can go on holidays and we can afford certain things. So there is that pressure in me, but at the same time, you know, I do enjoy seeing you and how you develop and how you grow and learn every day in being as an artist or as a business person, and seeing that happening and seeing the joy, the satisfaction that you get out of it, and the growth that you get out of this is really something that is more than worth supporting, and I think is beautiful for you, and I can grow along as well.
How can you grow along? So what have you taken out of this journey so far, and how would you encourage other people to do the same? Or would you even encourage other people to do the same?
Well, how do I grow along? So I grow along obviously because we talk a lot at home, right? We talk about, and you tell me a lot proactively about your business, what you're doing, what you're up to, and I try as much as I can to be sort of a sparring partner for you, for your ideas and for your inputs. And when you're looking for input, so I think that helps me also to broaden my horizon and open it up and be more sensitive towards having a business mind and a business focus, or even towards art. Before meeting you, before you venturing into art, I was like quite ignorant to art. I think nowadays I actually can appreciate art a lot more by knowing how much effort it takes to actually produce a piece of art, and how much love and detail goes into it. And having learned that, it's nice for me to start appreciating art. So when we go to the art fairs together, I think it's interesting. So that's something clearly where your journey has impacted me. I lost my train of thought now.
Well, you know, like, would you recommend this to other people? Like, you know, I think a lot. I personally meet a lot of women who talk about how they would like to leave their corporate world and pursue their happiness and go and do something different, or do a business that they've always wanted to do, but they have their hesitations because they're not sure how their husband feels about it, and, you know, there's a lot of the financial pressure on the family, and, well, us women being women, you know, we talk about ourselves, we don't really, not many of us get the opportunity to really talk to the husband about it. So, from a guy's perspective, what do you have to say about that? Or do you have any, would you recommend it to other men whose wives are in similar situation?
Well, I think most importantly that is, a certain financial stability needs to be there in order to support the venture. I think it's also otherwise, for you or for the business person, it would also be, I think, more nerve-wracking if the pressure would be too high, and if it's like, okay, I need to earn this money by this month, maybe it will also not be helpful. So I think luckily we are in a situation where we can sort of afford that more or less comfortably to have you going on that route, with obviously a goal also to contribute to the household. So I think if that is a given, then I would definitely encourage all my fellow men out there, or also women, to encourage your partner to go on that road, because again, right, I think it's a nice journey of learning together and discovering something together, and hopefully I also be able to contribute even more actively in the business. That's something I would also want to do. If time permits.
Would you like to be retired from your corporate job and joining me on the entrepreneurial journey?
Yes, definitely. I think that would be the ultimate goal in a way. Yeah, that
really?
Would be awesome. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not enjoying my corporate life, but I do more and more see as well that there is natural kind of boundaries and just I think it would be a lot better if you can actually create your own business and create your own enterprise, because you're free to design it the way you'll think it's good and the way you think it makes fun, right? Whereas in the corporate you're more restricted. You always have some boundaries, some rules, some policies, some regulations, which make it a lot more painful to actually be yourself.
Cool. Hey guys, I just want to check, Audrey or Pama, you've just logged on. I just wanted to see if you have sound quality, because I'm not quite sure if you guys can hear us. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for that like. Thanks, Audrey. So that helps. Okay, good. Well, thank you very much for that. I think these are all. Audrey, do you have any questions? Like, I'd love to know if you have any questions to ask. I just thought it would be really interesting to actually find out from the spouse this time around, instead of interviewing the maker himself or herself. It's also interesting to go behind behind the scenes and the person supporting the maker. So if you have any questions, please do let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, so one last question then. So
Sure.
It's been 4 years. Can you summarize the 4 years so far, like for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh.
What has it been like? In
It's
3 words.
Oh, well, roller coaster. I mean, it goes up and down, it goes left and right, and I think the beauty is that you're still in such a young stage that you're still developing, and you're trying out so many different skill sets and different things, that it's really just, one day you're trying this and it works, yay, it goes up and up and up, and then you try something else, it doesn't work, oh shit, and I think that is also for a couple, I think it's a bit of a test, because there's a lot of emotions that comes from it, right? If you work your own business, you have not many outlets, so sometimes also the relationships has to take some outlet as that.
Yeah.
But I think overall, as a couple, one grows a lot together, because it's a discovery journey. It's something you do together, you try to achieve together, and as a husband or as a supporting one, you try to be as supportive as you can in that direction. To make sure that it grows. It's another baby basically, and I think you said that before about your business, right? It's really another baby that needs to be taken care of. It needs to be loved. It needs to be appreciated for it to grow. That's more.
So do you feel equally responsible for this baby as much as I do? I don't know if you know how much responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I can feel equally responsible, because I know how much heart and soul you put into it, but I'm responsible, or I feel equally responsible for the business, and that includes you. You and the business are basically one person. Right? So for me, that is a tremendous joy, and a tremendous joy to see that growing and feeling responsible for your happiness. That also makes me responsible for your business in a lot of ways.
Thank you. That's really nice. Oh wow, that's quite reassuring to hear. Right, so last question. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you. Last question. what are your, what are your hopes or aspirations as a partner in this part of the equation for the next, foreseeable future? Like, what would you hope to see coming out for you and for the relationship?
Well, for your business, from your business? Or?
Yeah. For me, for the fact that, with me going on this journey.
Oh, a holiday in Maldives would be nice.
What, funded by
MilcbyMishell.
Right,
Business trip.
A business trip to Maldives. Yeah, that's very simple.
That's very simple. Yeah. No, what would I hope? I just hope that it continues to grow the way you want it, because I can see that this really satisfies you, which satisfies us. To me, that is beautiful to see, and also the lessons learned that you take out of it, that you can use those to basically continue growing yourself as a business person or as an artist, and as an artist.
But how does that impact you?
Because it impacts me, because when I see you're happy, then that is something that, and I obviously, knowing that I contribute to that as well, as being there as a supportive partner, it makes me happy and proud and feeling joyful to see that happening, and see it happening for you and for us. Because even though I may not actively have a stake in it, I have definitely passively a stake in it, by being there for you and support you and be positive encouragement. And maybe that's something actually where one of the challenges lies for me is how to support you in your growth, right? Because I don't have that business, I don't have it as much, that business mindset or the experience there. So providing you that adequate challenge or that adequate input is also not always, it's not easy for me. It's not something that comes naturally. And I know sometimes that creates some tension between us. But I think both of us have just to acknowledge that this is the reality, and the support I can provide you is maybe different, or in different aspects of life or in your business journey.
Cool. Thank you. Right, so I always sign off with, at the end of the interview, with an advice or something that you could share from yourself, from your learning experiences with others. And here I guess it would be targeted more to the men and the spouses of the people who are considering to go on this journey. What would be your piece of advice to them?
Just try, just do it, really. I mean, I think for us, when we came to the situation where you got made redundant and it was impossible to find a job, it was really just about, what is there to lose? If financially it allows you, then really, I think it's really not, you shouldn't ask yourself twice, just do it. And I know it takes guts, and luckily my wife is a very person with a lot of courage, so she had that guts to make that step. But I think, don't be afraid to talk about it to your partner. Just talk about it, talk to your network, and I'm sure there are a lot of people in there that can give you some support or advice in one way or the other. So do make use of that, and then just go ahead and try. Cool.
Great advice.
Life should never be about what you haven't tried, but only about what you tried.
Oh wow! Oh my god!
Very sophisticated.
That's very sophisticated. Thank you very much. Any last words? Final last words?
Nope.
Cool. Thank you very much. Thank you, Audrey, for listening. Thank you, Puama, for listening. Thank you all for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for listening to me. And you can also find me on Facebook if you want to complain.
Or Instagram.
Or Instagram,
yeah. He's on Instagram now.
I started that journey, yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, everyone. And we're saying bye from Singapore.